Hey guys, what's going on? SpitBrix here, back for another LEGO video, and today we're going to be looking at 10 LEGO sets that break the rules. Now, this could be anything from errors in the instruction booklets, errors on the set box artwork, or even just some weird discrepancies that were clearly not supposed to happen. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, I'd highly appreciate a like rating down below. Let's try and aim for 1,000 likes. And now let's go ahead and jump right in, and I'd first like to check out the image you guys most likely saw as the thumbnail for this video. Now, in fact, this is actually from an official LEGO Star Wars set, more specifically the Battle of Endor, and if you guys check out the instructions for this set, you can notice that because of the viewpoint angle that the set is sort of pictured in the instructions, it looks really weird and it ends up being almost like an optical illusion. As you can clearly see due to the instruction artwork here, it appears that a 1x3 brick is trying to attach on to a spot that basically only a 1x4 would be able to complete. Now, if you guys draw down those arrows further, you can notice that it does actually make sense. Now, that is only if you were to draw the arrows further down, and you guys can see that that works. However, it doesn't look like that whenever you're building it if you were to be looking at the instruction manual. The next error is contained within the Fire Mech set for the LEGO Ninjago movie. At first glance, this set may seem perfectly fine until you closely examine the Kai minifigure on the box. Now, as you guys may know, this set does not include a sword holder piece for Kai, since he would not be able to fit in his mech with it on. However, for many of the originally produced sets, such as mine that I received from LEGO, you'll notice that in multiple places on this box that there are legitimately pictures of Kai with this shoulder piece on. In addition, he's also pictured incorrectly on the bottom left-hand corner, and right off the bat, let me just tell you that this was very dangerous for LEGO, because technically, this would be considered false advertising. The sword holder piece is shown on the box, but is not actually included in the set itself. Now, eventually, LEGO must have identified this issue because they started producing correct boxes, and that's just because not every single one of these will have a misrepresentation of Kai on the box. So, thought that was kind of interesting. The next mistake is one that may have been even more widespread than the Fire Mech, this one occurring in the Batman movie collectible minifigures line regarding the little pamphlet or checklist that you get inside each minifigure blind bag. Now, one of these characters over on the left is misrepresented, and that is Catman. If you guys notice on the brick-built version of the minifigure here, on his legs, we're focusing on the legs, he has yellow on top and brown on the bottom, while if you look on the checklist for number 16, he actually has brown on the top and yellow on the bottom. It's flipped. And so the accurate one is the one on the right. If you were to get the minifigure, that is the minifigure you would get, but the checklist has the colors flipped, which is an interesting difference that I guess wasn't completely caught before they were mass produced and put in all the foil bags. And I'm pretty sure this was a very common mistake. At least for me, all the packs that I bought of this Batman series all had this same error for the checklist. So maybe check yours. Maybe you have this mistake on yours as well. I'm not really sure if LEGO ended up fixing it because at least for the ones I have, they're all this mistake. Here's an awesome throwback to 2012 for the Serpentine season of Ninjago. We have the Fangpyre Truck Ambush. This is an amazing set, absolutely love it, but there is something wrong with it that just didn't make any sense. Here we have the two ninja that come in this set. We have JZX on the left and Zane ZX over on the right. However, if you open up the instruction manual for the Fangpyre Truck Ambush set here, you're going to notice something a little bit weird. They actually switched Zane's head for Jay's head in the instruction manual. So if you were to build the minifigures like the instruction manual tells you to, you'd end up with a Zane minifigure with a Jay head. So they flipped those accidentally, which I thought was a kind of funny mistake, and you would really only catch that, I guess, if you had other Ninjago sets at the time and, you know, obviously knew the difference between Zane's and Jay's head. Continuing on, we have the largest set that's going to be featured with a mistake in this video. This is the Death Star from 2016, part of the LEGO Star Wars line. Now, there are two different mistakes that I found from different users on Reddit. The first one here from Ujel, his actually had a mistake with his instruction manual. It looks like the page was folded in, and so it was not cut correctly, which I thought this was interesting because you can see that LEGO doesn't print over the entire page, and then they kind of like cut it off to make sure that ink goes all the way to the the edge of the instruction booklets. Kind of interesting how that works. You get to see a little bit of behind the scenes on how LEGO prints its instruction booklets, but since this page was folded in, it didn't get cut correctly. The next one by a user on Reddit with the ID of DRS499M showed that there was a numbering mistake within the manual as well. Clearly from these images you can see that the counting goes from 598 back down to 499 instead of 599, so obviously there's a mistake there. So I'm actually curious if you guys have this set. Let me know down below if you guys have this mistake as well. Alright, so here is a set that was absolutely littered with incorrect artwork from 2011, the very first wave of Ninjago sets. This is the Skull Motorbike, but let me tell you, they could never get Chop of right. As you can see here in one of the product images, one of the main product images, they actually used Frackjaw's armor piece with the red sort of spikes on the sides for the Chop of minifigure here, which does not come in this set. He should have the gray ones for Chop of. This trend continues on for numerous different product images for this set, but this one just really irritates me the most. Chop of now has a reversed body. The body's not even facing, or the torso I should say, of the skeleton isn't even facing the right way. You guys can see it's like hollowed out on there in the very bottom instead of having his printing down there. It's flipped the wrong way, and they have the wrong armor on him. Like, come on. If you guys look at any of the instruction manuals back from 2011 for Ninjago, anytime this set is being advertised in the back of a manual, it has incorrect artwork for Chop of. Yup. As you can see here, all of them I have, or most of them at least, that include an image of the Skull Motorbike in the back of them, have this problem where Frackjaw's armor is on Chop of's, which doesn't even come in the set. It's a gray one that comes in the set. But anyways, this set is kind of a mess in pertaining to Chop of course. So anyways, let's move on to the next one. Up next is a very subtle discrepancy on the Ninjago City set for the LEGO Ninjago movie. Now, what went on here is that it looks like they were a little bit sloppy on removing some of the preliminary markings on the preliminary boxes. You know, whenever LEGO produces a box and then just has a rough outline of the minifigures on the very bottom by writing their name. Well, they didn't remove Kai's name, and so if you look on the boxes, it literally says Kai in black lettering on top of the minifigure picture. They didn't ever remove that text that was kind of like a placeholder for what minifigure was going to go there. So honestly, they were rushing through this perhaps, or just didn't zoom in close enough. Let's be honest though, nobody really, sees this unless you look really close. But it's interesting to see that this is also on the box images, just like the box artwork. It's still there, you guys can see it here. And this was brought up to me by one of my followers on Instagram called awesome_BG, and so with him, I was able to include this one in the video. Next up, let's talk about the LEGO movie. Have you guys caught on a different trend here? A lot of them are from the movie sets. We have the Batman collectible minifigures, we have this LEGO movie set, we have Ninjago City, as well as the Fire Mech from the Ninjago movie. And so there's a lot of mistakes with these movie sets, which makes me kind of wonder if LEGO kind of rushes through these or does them at kind of the last minute or changes things at the last minute. But anyways, for this one isn't necessarily anything to do with the graphic designer's fault, but rather LEGO's machinery at the production plant. This is an image of one of the instruction booklets for Benny's spaceship, and as you guys can see, there was a problem with the black ink. It just kind of like smudged all over it, and the user said that this is a common trend throughout this entire booklet. So I guess that's a little bit unfortunate, but at the same time, it makes it unique and possibly a little bit more valuable. I don't really know if something like this would hold a collector's value, but hey, at least it's unique. Now, in case you couldn't already predict the future, the next one is also from a movie of LEGOs. This one from the Ninjago movie, this is the Water Strider. Now, what's peculiar about this one is that LEGO literally just did not finish building the set before they started taking product images. And what's interesting is that these are the product images that are literally everywhere, wherever you want to buy this set. So if we look on Lego.com, we have the Water Strider. Look at the legs of the Water Strider. It's obvious, something is missing. If you guys look on the leg that's closest to us over on the right, it's literally missing Lego bricks on top of it. It's not even finished. They didn't even finish building it. How do you miss that? I mean, I know Lego does a lot of things, and there's a lot of people working for them, but at the same time, nobody caught that before they published that? I don't know. I saw this immediately whenever these were released, but this is definitely, not what it should be. Next up, we're going back in time to some retro sets, some good old LEGO Star Wars sets from 2000. Now, what's going on here is that there's actually just some pieces missing. Now, this happens a lot. I obviously wouldn't include every single example because they're everywhere. Basically, whenever LEGO's making instructions, they'll forget to include one of the pieces, and so they'll attach it on the large image but won't ever put it in the necessary supplies for that step. And so this one, have you guys spotted it yet? It's kind of hard to spot on this since all the colors are very similar, but it's these two bricks at the very bottom left. Those two are not listed on the supplies list up on the top for instruction number 29, but yet they just magically appear there. So imagine if you forgot to put those there and needed to come back or something. That would be terrible. Now, before we check out the very last addition to this video, I just wanted to make a notice here that I'm not trying to be negative towards LEGO. In fact, LEGO does an amazing job at quality inspection and product inspection before they release stuff to the public. And honestly, if you're such a huge company putting out hundreds of LEGO sets, obviously there's going to be stuff that slips by. We're all humans. I realize that, I'm pointing out things that's wrong about these sets. And honestly, there really aren't that many mistakes when compared to how many sets LEGO puts out year after year after year. For the last addition to this video, I wanted to include something very unique that you probably haven't seen before, and also something very different. It's not necessarily on a LEGO set, but rather on an official guide for Ninjago that was released in 2011. It included this image here, which I got courtesy to the Ninja Master 510 on Instagram, and with it you guys can see this Zane minifigure that was never released. More specifically, that torso there with that printing, that was from one of the preliminary trailers of Ninjago that Tommy Andreasen had made, and I made a video on that actually just a couple weeks ago, I think, so I'll have a link on screen right now if you guys want to watch it. Basically, this is a minifigure that was produced, or I guess created, before the official ones came out, so it's interesting to see it in this official guide book since it never became an official minifigure. And that wraps up today's video looking at 10 LEGO sets that break the rules. Let me know down below if you guys want to see a part 2 on this video. Let's see if we can reach 1,000 likes. Check out one of the videos on screen right now and subscribe to my channel for more LEGO content. I'm SpitBrix, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video coming very soon.